He doesn't have to expand the strike zone, go out of the strike zone to drive in runs because somebody behind him's not doing it. And so I think it's going to be a big lift to Dave, and I think it's going to be a big lift in the clubhouse that he's not going to have to face every challenge in the clubhouse.
Eric Young Jr. with his second hit of the game. He's 2 for 2. I'm sure that makes you happy, Terry. The 90 wins number has been bandied about. Give me your thoughts on how realistic you think that is.
Well, you know, I certainly understand the whole theory behind it. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with putting some goals out there. Obviously, a lot of people, you know, thought it added pressure to our team. You know what? For me, it was for the players, it was a, you know, we as the front office people, you know, we said, listen, if you do what you're expected to do, you know, we've got a chance to win 90 games. And Sandy said 90 games. I know that some people say, oh, there's been some people who come out, hey, we can win more. You know what? This game's all about confidence, as you guys know. And you know what? When people believe in it, that lifts your confidence. And right now, we believe we've got a team that can do that. Yes, we all have to have big years. Everybody's got to put the expectations on the table and live up to them. And if we do that, we're going to be in a hunt. We've got a good club.
What type of team do you believe you're going to be? Are you going to be more of a small ball team or that 3-run homer team? As in the first inning, we did see Eric Young stay at first base, not steal after a 9-pitch at-bat from Daniel Murphy. Also, we didn't see Granderson bunt with the shift on runner at third, hitting in the cleanup spot.
Well, you know, one thing about, you know, Jordan Zimmerman's no slouch. And, you know, when you're 1-1, 1-1-5 to the plate, it's tough to steal. And I know Eric Young's the stolen base champion, but you've also got Dan Murphy up with the middle of the lineup behind you. You cannot run into outs. But in our ballpark, certainly power is something that, you know, it's difficult there. We play in a big yard, but as I told Grandy, do what you did in Comerica Park in Detroit. You know, hit those doubles, hit those triples. You're gonna hit home runs not only in Comerica, but in Citi Field, but you can hit them on the road too. But in our park, one of the things that you got to be is athletic, and you've got to use the whole field to hit, because if you're just one-dimensional player, that place can eat you up.
Terry, we'll get you out of here on a high note. Give me the best story of the spring that maybe most folks aren't aware of.
Well, I tell you, to be honest, the best story that I've seen all spring long is the job that Matt Harvey's done in the rehab. He is throwing the ball like he's already 5 months in. He's playing catch at 90 feet. It's coming out of his hand great. This guy told me he's going to pitch in September, and I will tell you guys something. In the 4 years I've known Matt Harvey, he's lived anything he said he's lived up to.
All right, we'll watch for that. Terry Collins, thanks very much. Have a great season.
Thanks, guys.
We'll be right back from the Tiki Bar.
A beleza no Brasil está em todo lugar. Mas se você quiser ver mesmo a nossa beleza, olhe as nossas estrelas. Copa do Mundo FIFA 2014 na ESPN.
There's been a lot of talk about the all-new Indian Chief.
The Indian is one impressive V12.
Fit and finish is second to none.
Indian Chieftain named Motorcycle of the Year.
It's time to join the ride.
Love this machine. The Indian Chief is truly the sweetest bike
Couldn't
on
be
the
more
road.
American.
Bikes are awesome.
In a word,
Very smooth.
The 2014 Indian Chief. You've heard the rumble. Now own the ride. Starting at $18,999.
We talk football?
We can always talk football.
On the field, the action never stops. But behind the scenes,
Draft day. History in the making.
the action really begins.
Let's make a deal. And the barbarians are at the gate.
It's go time, boss.
Let's get busy.
Kevin Costner,
You son of a... I need 5 minutes, and then you can fire me.
Jennifer Garner,
Write your own story, Sonny.
You're out of your mind.
Yeah, I am. Haven't I proved that already?
Draft Day, rated PG-13, in theaters April 11th.
Staples has everything you need to keep a germ-free office. From gloves to wipes to cleaners. Everything. Except germ-free coworkers. Thousands of products added every day to Staples.com. Even protective suits. Staples. Make more happen.
I know that it is mine, but it sure feels fine when I can share with you. Everybody, because sharing means caring, and caring means sharing, and sharing means
Share your greatest Watch Dogs moments on PlayStation 4.
That's how sharing works.
Rated M for mature.
Welcome Welcome back to this telecast of Major League Baseball Spring Training on ESPN, presented by Gillette Body. Wrapping up Spring Training Baseball here today in St. Lucie. The Nationals a 1-0 lead over the Mets as we go to the top of the 4th inning. And there's a new pitcher for the Mets, Giancarlo Alvarado. And he'll face Ian Desmond to start the 4th. I was going to have Peter look up stuff on Alvarado, but apparently, Eduardo, you know everything about him. Tell me about this guy.
He pitched for me in Puerto Rico. It's phenomenal. He's 36 years of age. He's pitched everywhere from Mexico to he's pitched in Japan.
Is that right?
19 minor league seasons, and he gets outs.
Desmond puts a charge into that one, but Eric Young Jr. is there, shy of the warning track.
Pitched in almost every event representing Puerto Rico from the World Baseball Classics, all 3 years participating in it. He throws strikes. That's what they need.
They give him Jesse Orozco's number, 47. It's a very powerful number in New York Mets history, if I have my numbers correct.
Jesse Orozco pitched till he was 40-something, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
He was 47, so Giancarlo still has a good 11 years left.
19 seasons in the minors. You got to love the game, man. You got to love the game.
19 seasons.
Because at some point you cross over, hey, you know what? I'm no longer a prospect anymore. And now you're just playing for love of the game and maybe because you don't want a 9-to-5 regular job.
He's a battler, though. One thing he will not do is give up.
This is Adam LaRoche. LaRoche singled in the 1st. There's 47 in the Mets white.
There it is.
At the end of the 1986 World Series. Rafael Santana first out there. I was at that game at Shea Stadium, by the way.
I saw you in the background.
Yeah, no, I wasn't that close. I was in the upper deck, brother. Folks were kind enough to let me come home from college that night. Actually, the Game 7, it was supposed to be a rain out. Like, Game 7 was supposed to be on Sunday night. It was rained out. Wound up pushing that to Monday. Some of the Mets' glory days. Jesse Orozco in the middle. Darryl Strawberry on the left. There's Wally Backman on the right. Ground out to shortstop. In the shift, and that was David Wright who moved over again. He's shifting for everybody. Opening night baseball presented by Scott's. It's on ESPN. Dodgers take on the Padres at Petco Park, and that's taking on a whole new look now. No Clayton Kershaw. Scratch from that start. Major League Baseball, Los Angeles, San Diego, Sunday at 8 on ESPN. Kershaw, stiff upper back is the word, or more specifically,
teres major.
Thank you.
Very painful.
Dr. Perez.
That's right. Had a lot of injuries.
Saw a lot of doctors.
Saw a lot of doctors.
Some of the numbers on Kershaw, who was, the way it was going to work out was going to start 3 of the first 6 based on opening in Australia, and that'll push him back a little bit.
And the West Division is hoping that he's okay, but happy that he's not pitching those first 3 out of 6.
I bet there are a host of baseball fans around the country who don't realize the Dodgers are 2-0. In the real standings, the big league standings, the Dodgers are already out to a 1-game lead.
It's a nice feeling. Such a deep team.
This is Danny Espinosa. He walked in the 2nd inning. Part of that long inning that Corey Mazzoni pitched through.
You know what's tough right now for the Nationals, not knowing a lot about Giancarlo Alvarado, even though he's 36 years of age, and he's been successful in Japan. He was successful also in Mexico and then in the minor leagues. Gives you a lot of innings, knows how to pitch, and his ball moves a lot. So it's very difficult to square it up. That right there was a purpose pitch.
Woo! That's a back. I want to see the back of that baseball card.
And that's how he pitches. He doesn't give in. And he's 36, and he feels that he's 26. He's going to go out there and keep pitching. He pitches winter ball every season.
Originally signed with the Pirates. Hey, good for him, right? Pitch until they tell you you can't pitch anymore. But he seems to keep finding jobs.
Goes out there, doesn't complain. Give me the ball, I'll pitch.
Let me ask you that, are we buying, since you know him so well, are we buying the 36 years old?
Oh, without a doubt.
Oh, that's legit, okay.
Without a doubt.
You know, some guys sort of fudge their age from time to time.
No, not if you're from Puerto Rico.
All right.
You go through that draft.
That'll get through, a single to center field. For example, you told me you're at 44, right?
That's what I am today.
And you're really 48, so.
I feel like I'm 68 sometimes.
I know a lot of people, non-athletes, who lie about their age. Men and women.
Where's Bryce Harper when you need him so you can tell you that's a clown question?
Bro.
Bro.
So Espinosa singles to center and bring up the pitcher Jordan Zimmerman. The reason it's a 1-0 game is because Zimmerman had the infield single that plated the only run. Speaking of birthdays, today, happy birthday to Matt Harvey, the young phenom pitcher of the Mets. Hopefully Doug got him a birthday present, because I hope that Doug's going to speak to him coming up next inning. Doug, did you get him a card?
Well, I think I just want to get him a card for the entire New York Mets fan base. I think they're all celebrating him just sort of being part of the organization. They're fired up, hoping he'll come back soon.
Is it amazing at Citi Field the difference when Matt Harvey pitches and everybody else? The energy in the stadium on days Harvey's supposed to pitch at home is something special. And the Mets obviously looking forward to more of that.
Well, Terry Collins needs at least a couple innings out of Giancarlo to stabilize his pen.
There's Tejada taking his time. He'll gobble it up. Tejada's been a busy man at shortstop today. Had a couple errors this preseason. Not today. It's still 1-0 Nationals. Bottom of the fourth.
What was my secret to losing 62 pounds?
71 pounds.
60 pounds.
In just 9 months.
7 months.
5 months. All I had to do was walk.
Walk on a tread climber by Bowflex.
This is the Bowflex tread climber machine that combines the motions of a treadmill, stepper, and elliptical to burn up to 3.5 times the calories of a treadmill.
I had just given birth. I gained about 60 pounds. You can't blame that on baby weight. That's donuts. The tread climber, it's just easy. I lost 62 pounds in 7 months. 30 minutes is all it takes. I'm living proof.
Call the number below or go to tcbody.com to receive your free $200 savings card. With it, we'll send this detailed information kit that explains how simply walking on a tread climber can burn up to 3.5 times the calories of other workouts, and without the stress that running puts on your joints.
I feel like I'm 20 years old again. I lost 60 pounds in 5 months. I think anybody could do it.
Call, text, or go to tcbody.com to receive your free $200 savings card and information kit. That's tcbody.com.
Have to be on all the time, so we rely pretty heavily on the coffee cart.
Hey guys, want some coffee?
I have a double-double.
What's a double-double?
It's 2 double espressos.
They're awesome. Kevin makes the best double-double. As a matter of fact, can I get another one?
I think maybe you should slow down.
Give me another double-double, Kevin. Kevin, can I get another double-double?
I think you should just get through your show, you know?
It's for my show.
Of course, we do have to be careful that we don't overdo it.
Things are really heating up, shaping up, looking up, going up. Well, up from some teams, down for others. Is getting excited. It's the playoffs. Whoa!
When your cable's on the fritz, you get tense. When you get tense, you can't sleep. When you can't sleep, you need to sleep. When you need to sleep, you get stranded. When you get stranded, you have to survive. When you have to survive, you eat wild berries. And when you eat wild berries, you chase imaginary butterflies into something highly illegal. Don't chase imaginary butterflies into something highly illegal. Get rid of cable and upgrade to DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
With Bartolo Colon working on one of the backfields here in St. Lucie, we can tell you that Major League Baseball, People Magazine, and Target are looking for outstanding teachers in your community. 30 teachers will be recognized at the 2014 All-Star Game on July 15th. Log on to allstarteachers.com to nominate your favorite teacher today. MLB.TV Baseball Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, celebrating 12 years. Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game live in true high definition on over 400 devices. Visit MLB.TV for details. David Wright steps in, and Jordan Zimmerman goes high and tight on right. Jose Lobaton is now catching for the Nationals, replacing Wilson Ramos.
Slider just got away from from Jordan Zimmerman.
Zimmerman lines up to be the 3 starter for the Nationals. As for the 2 starter, he's standing by with Doug Glanville.
Sorry, Gio. So high expectations for this Nationals rotation. So what do you feel the difference is, the tone from 2014 versus that 98-win season 2 years ago?
You know what? Our thing is just staying healthy. You know, I think we have such a great group of guys that it's been the same thing. You know, we've had a great elite 5 guys every year, and with Dan Herron, Edwin Jackson, now Doug Fish are coming along. You know, I think we even have we have a good fight right now for the fifth spot. So it's been nothing but fun watching these guys go out there and compete and give us something to watch every year.
So what's been the tone between the pitchers? Is it a friendly competition, pushing each other? How do you guys get along?
I think, yeah, it's exactly what it is. Just having some fun. You know, Jordan goes out there and those 5 scoreless. We want to go out there and go 6 scoreless. You know, it's a good friendly competition to have, especially amongst us, you know, each other. And I think that with the rotation we have and the bullpen guys too, you know, they keep us where we need to be. You know, if we go 5 or 6, they go out there and shut it down for us. I think we have such a great bullpen. It just complements our starting rotation.
Certainly Matt Williams coming on board, tying it all together. What has he brought in terms of the swagger of this rotation?
He's definitely a leader. You know, he's one of our main guy where he knows what we're doing. He has a game plan wherever we go. You know, I think that it's just he's not taking it easy, where in the fact that, you know, if we can get fundamentals down, we're going to get the basics down, we're going to do the right thing, we're going to play small ball, and that's what's probably going to take us further than what we expect.
Well, your last rotation personally looked like you were pounding the strike zone, trying to get ahead early. Is this something you're going to try to bring into the season?
Absolutely. And, you know, spring training is for us to get our work in and get it out, you know, stuff like that. But I think it's for us to stay healthy, get out there. And I think for me, I just want to stay healthy throughout the year. And obviously, my routine and everything I've gone through, obviously it's working. So I'm just going to stick to what I have.
Well, looks like part of your rotation is going to have some young guys bringing in. So what has been your role in terms of advisor, leader to the young guys coming up and trying to get in the mix?
I think it's just, for them, it's just let them have fun. You know, obviously they're doing the right thing. They're being recognized. Everyone knows what they have. So for me, it's just put a smile on their face, let them feel loose up here. But most of the time, it's just enjoying them going out there and competing and doing the same thing we're all doing, having a little friendly competition.
All right, Gio, well, thanks for your time and good luck 2014.
Thank you.
All right, take care. All right, guys.
Doug, Gio, thanks very much. 2 seasons ago, a guy won 21 games. Had a whole, I think, had 13 no decisions last season. That was the difference.
Well, he's got sneaky velocity. It's not only with his fastball locating on both sides, but also that big curveball he has. And this spring, he's working on that changeup. And the Nationals are expecting a lot of big things out of Gio.
This is Curtis Granderson at the plate, fouling that one away after David Wright fouled out to Adam LaRoche. Here's that starting rotation for the Nationals, and a whole lot of people think this is the best starting rotation maybe in all of baseball.
It's very deep, and one thing all those 5 guys can do is go deep into ball games. And at the end of the season, the guys that will be happy will be the bullpen.
Because they don't have to worry about coming in the 5th inning too many times, right?
Exactly. The overuse of the bullpen is really what kills you down the stretch. And when you can keep a deep bullpen staff like they have in Clippard and then closing it out Soriano, then you're in good shape. And the Nationals know that. The health, as Gio alluded to, is also big. And they do have depth in the minor league system. But when you have 4 horses like that in the top 4, you're sitting in a good position.
Zimmerman trying to get through 3, 4, and 5 here. The Mets, Wright, Granderson, and now Chris Young. Where do you stand on that statement that the Nationals, the best staff in starting staff in Major League Baseball?
I kind of cringe a little bit because yesterday we saw what I thought was also one of the best staffs in baseball, which is St. Louis Cardinals, led by Adam Wainwright. And you got 4 young studs pitching behind them that are homegrown from that organization. And you have Walkup, Miller, Lynn, and Kelly in that staff, and they go deep into ball games also.
They're all young also, too. That's fouled back by Young. Zimmerman up to 57 pitches and counting.
Oh, 2 count again.
First 5 hitters of the game. Zimmerman got ahead 0-2. And here he is again.
Chris Young having a very good spring training. And as I said before, Rod Carew had a lot to do with it in his off-season training. Worked heavily with him.
Only got a 1-year deal, Young did, and that should be incentive. 1 year, $7.25 million after really struggling last year. Hit just 200, just 12 home runs in 107 games with the A's.
But he's got so much power, and one of the reasons that the Mets did sign him was because their defense in the outfield was dismal last year, and they wanted a good defensive outfielder that had presence. And he's one of those elite outfielders that can play all 3 positions and play them well. And he helped a lot with the Oakland A's last year. And the Mets are hoping that he will help now, not only defensively, but with his offense.
Guy was an all-star a few years ago, 2010. Some of the moves the Mets have made, and you see the money attached to them. Granderson, Cologne, and Young.
That's a lot of money right there, but well invested in Granderson. As I said, he will take away the pressure of David Wright.
Right back. Zimmerman does let it go that time, and Danny Espinosa will fire across for the out. Zimmerman gets the Mets 3-4-5, gets a 1-2-3. Hoping the Mets are #1 this season. We'll see about that.
Dodgers Padres, Sunday at 8. Baseball rules on ESPN.
The Name Your Price tool. You tell them how much you want to pay, and they help you find a policy that fits your budget. I told you to wear something comfortable. This is a polyester blend.
It'll help.
I got you. Oh, it's so beautiful.
Should we call security? No, this is just getting good.
The Name Your Price tool, still only from Progressive.
Hello, gentlemen. Andrew, could you send me the revised deck, please?
Revised deck.
I can do that.
Your Samsung can do that?
Mm-hmm.
Mine can't do 2 things at once.
Andrew, are you okay?
Yeah. He's just brainstorming.
There's Stormy in here.
Let's go to slide 6. Andrew, what happened to your tablet?
The next big thing is here. Do 2 things at once on the Galaxy Note Pro with multi-window. Available at Verizon.
Some secrets we outrun. And some we run with. The Acura TL Special Edition with 280 horsepower. Performance that hides in plain sight.
Visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the TL.
The road to success almost always begins with the inspiration of a teacher who helps a young person recognize the greatness within them. Join Target, Major League Baseball, and People Magazine in celebrating these educators by nominating a teacher who has made a positive impact in your community. Go to allstarteachers.com to nominate today.
Well, any day that Matt Harvey pitched was Harvey Day. Was not a holiday. You see some of the numbers, and of course in October, Tommy John surgery. He hopes to come back in 2014, and Matt Harvey standing by with Doug in the dugout.
Well, Matt, first of all, happy birthday. Word about it. So what's the celebration going to be like?
Oh, I don't know. I'm happy to be with the guys, and it'll be a fun plane ride up to Montreal. So enjoying watching these guys play now, and you know, staying with them today.
Well, obviously a phenomenal season, ended with disappointment, excuse me, from a health standpoint. So you've shown the commitment that you want to be with this team through this rehab assignment. So what was that? What was inspired by that?
Well, you know, I feel strongly that I can come back this year, and you know, obviously, you know, being cleared health-wise is what's most important. But you know, I think mentally, I'm at the point where I think I can come back, and you know, in my whole point was, you know, I didn't want to lose, you know, 4 or 5 months of not seeing these guys play, and then all of a sudden come back in August or September, and you know, have not been around. And you know, I love showing up to the ballpark in New York every day, and I think watching these guys is more motivation to get back. And you know, I kind of kept that in the back of my head at all times, and you know, staying with them is you know, ultimately where I wanted to be.
Well, speaking of getting back, what are you working on now as part of this rehabilitation process?
Well, you know, it's a slow process. I think really, you know, getting the body back in shape right now is what's most important. And, you know, obviously 20 throws at 75 feet is, you know, nowhere near getting back off of a mound quite yet. But, you know, it's a slow process. And right now I'm really trying to get flexibility and, you know, get my body in shape to a point where, you know, when I do start getting off a mound, that there are no setbacks.
Well, how do you feel about September? I know you set strong goals to sort of make sure you hit your mark, but how does that look at this point?
Well, you know, it's a long ways away, but, you know, like I said, mentally and physically, I'm trying to get to that point, and I think staying with the guys is definitely going to help with that. And, you know, once the mound visits start happening, then obviously we'll decide a little bit more at that point.
Well, this example that you're setting, how has it trickled down to some of the young pitchers that are coming up throughout the farm system?
Well, you know, hopefully good. You know, I take a lot of pride in you know, being accountable for my actions and being at the field every day and working hard. And you know, obviously I learned all that from David Wright, and you know, I'm just proud to stand next to him and hopefully be a leader one day.
All right, Matt. Well, thanks for your time and good luck all the way. Happy birthday, by the way. Guys.
Matt Harvey, 25 years old today, and obviously a very bright future. Coming off the Tommy John surgery. Seems like more and more pitchers. So you're almost surprised when you hear about a pitcher who hasn't had the surgery done now. It's so common.
A lot of power arms now. You get a lot of velocity, a lot of torque. A lot of guys that are just really strong throwing in the high 90s. And those are more common than the guys that can flip it in there at 87, 88, that know how to move it in and out. And I think we'll continue to see a trend in that. A lot of these guys have played baseball nonstop their entire career.
Jason Worth steps in, his third at bat of the afternoon. 0 for 2. Flew out to right in the first, grounded out to short in the third. Anthony Saratelli is now at second base for the Mets, replacing Daniel Murphy in the game. 1-0 in favor of the Nationals. The only run driven in by the pitcher, Jordan Zimmerman, in the second inning. Giancarlo Alvarado is the pitcher for the Mets.
Keeps doing his thing. Gets you out with finesse, 86 to 87 mile per hour fastball, moving it in and out.
Worth to foul that one straight back.
That's Scott Rice in the pen. Features as a basic fastball, slider, and changeup. He'll be coming in following Giancarlo.
Hey, back to Doug's conversation with Matt Harvey. It was an interesting battle between player and team. I guess the team brass really wanted him to stay in St. Lucie in rehab. And apparently the very powerful Players Association, it's in the collective bargaining agreement. Now, that could be a 6-4-3 double play. Maybe we'll pick up on that topic next half inning. It was going to be a heck of a conversation, too. We'll be right back.
Yeah, it's a big mess. But don't worry, cleanup's already underway.
When the things that matter most are on the line, make sure we are too. The disaster recovery team at 1-800-SERVE-PRO. Like it never even happened.
I know that it is mine, but it sure feels fine when I can share with you. Everybody, sharing means caring, and caring means sharing, and sharing means caring.
Share
your greatest Destiny moments on PlayStation 4.
That's how sharing works.
Product not yet rated.
Look to the sky, listen to the trees. Out on the river, just a man roaming free, searching for that great taste of 10 calories. Bold country, this is bold country.
Great tasting, bold flavor. 10 calories. Dr. Pepper 10. Taste the bold country. Not a bad way to end the day.
Hello?
Yeah, I noticed your car's not in the driveway.
Yeah, it's in the shop. It's gonna cost me an arm and a leg.
That's hilarious.
Sorry.
You should have taken it to Midas. Get some of that Midas touch. I'll tell you what stuff needs fixing and what stuff can wait.
All right. Next time, going to Midas.
High five. Oh, did not see that coming.
Trust the Midas Touch for brakes, tires, oil, everything.
The magic of baseball lies in the ability to stave off time. On this field, time is measured only in outs. And as Roger Angel wrote, all you have to do is succeed utterly. Keep hitting, keep the rally alive, and you have defeated time. You remain forever young.
Opening night baseball presented by Scott's on ESPN. Dodgers and Padres on Sunday night. Major League Baseball. Sunday night, 8 Eastern on ESPN. As you look at the game, we're not covering. We're just covering that pitcher, that starting pitcher on the left. And that is the Mets' Bartolo Colon, who the Mets did not want the Nationals to see today because they will see him in the first week of the regular season. The Nationals and Mets open up at Citi Field in Flushing on Monday afternoon. Take Tuesday off, the protected day off for the weather. As Ike Davis gave it a ride to left, and Bryce Harper out there makes the play. And then they'll get back at it with another day game on Wednesday.
So far, Jordan Zimmerman very economical, throwing 64 pitches and only 15 balls, 49 strikes. That is what we're used to seeing out of Jordan Zimmerman.
Travis d'Arnaud will step in. d'Arnaud hit into a double play in the second inning. Puts a charge into this one. No one questions d'Arnaud's catching ability behind home plate. They want to know if he can hit enough as he flies out there. There's 2 away.
2 quick outs. Jason Worth in right field really didn't even see that ball off the bat. He stayed still in right field, and he's talking to the Denard fan, saying, I didn't pick it up at all out of the bat. Fortunately for him, it was hit more towards center field, and Denard did get a good read.
Here's Ruben Tejada. You know, you can say a lot of the same things about a lot of these Mets play. I just said about Arnaud. They know he can play defense behind home plate. Will he hit enough? And that's the concern about Tejada as well. Will he hit enough to be an everyday shortstop?
Well, 2 years ago, I thought this kid was going to be here for a long time and no questions were going to be asked. And one of the big reasons is because of his patience at the plate, his recognition, tough to strike out, would make contact. On-base percentage was high. Then all of a sudden last season, no on-base percentage, wasn't aggressive at all at the plate. And he paid for it. That's the bottom line. And he has to be that offensive shortstop. He was very good at the top of the order doing that. Now he's going to be in the 8-hole. I don't think he knows how to hit in the 8-hole. That is a tough position to hit in. He doesn't know when they're going to pitch to him, when they're not.
I know that Mets coach Tim Tuffle has spent an awful lot of time with Tejada this spring training, trying to just pump his confidence up. And when we talked to Terry Collins earlier, I thought Collins made a great point. Collins said, if you're just joining us, that when he talked to Tejada, he said the Hall of Fame is filled with guys who've had off years.
But Hall of Famers are very strong in the head, very strong. And this year, we're going to see how strong Ruben Tejada is psychologically.
And it's well known the Mets have been looking for shortstops, beating the bushes everywhere they can. to try to find another shortstop.
The interesting thing is the Detroit Tigers go out and find shortstops. They found Alex Gonzalez to be a stopgap. They found
2 in 48 hours, right?
2 in 48 hours.
Right, so they are out there. Stephen Drew is out there if you want to pay for him. Apparently somebody's offered him 3 years, $39 million. Not sure why he hasn't signed that deal yet. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Jordan Zimmerman as the Mets go down in order.
If you're a Dish customer, there are better ways to bundle your TV and internet. You already love your Dish TV service. Now you can love your internet too. Call now to bundle your Dish TV service with DishNet high-speed internet and save a bundle. You'll save an extra $10 a month.
I have a bundle, and I love the convenience of saving time and money.
With DishNet, get the high-speed internet you've been waiting for, where you live, with speeds as fast as 4G.
We can get real high-speed internet here.
It's the high-speed internet I've been waiting for.
And when you bundle DishNet with your Dish TV service, you'll save an extra $10 a month. You already get the great value of Dish TV, so call now to bundle with DishNet high-speed internet, all on one convenient bill.
We live out in the middle of nowhere, and DishNet is the high-speed internet we've been waiting for.
I can get all the parts I need online, even way out here.
Get the high-speed internet you've been waiting for. Call the number on your screen now to get DishNet today and save $10 per month. It's a better way to bundle with Dish TV and DishNet, the high-speed internet you've been waiting for.
Millions of square feet of flooring must be sold by end of quarter at Lumber Liquidators Flooring Liquidation Sale. Get an incredible deal on laminates starting at 49 cents. Hand-scraped bamboo only $1.89. 3/4-inch hardwood just $2.59. Sales going on now at Lumber Liquidators.
With AT&T's new pricing for families, you get 4 lines on AT&T's network, including unlimited talk, unlimited text, and 10 gigs of data to share.
10 gigs?
10 gigs, all for $160 a month.
You know, I think our family really needed this. It's really gonna bring us closer together.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Introducing our best ever family pricing. For instance, a family of 4 gets 10 gigs of data with unlimited talk and text for $160 a month. Only from AT&T.
Hey America, save $1 per gallon on Shell fuel when you purchase 5 quarts of Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic Motor Oil. Enjoy America's most trusted motor oil and huge savings on America's most preferred brand of fuel. Go to pennzoil.com/fuel rewards and start saving.
This telecast of Major League Baseball spring training on ESPN is brought to you by Lumber Liquidators. Hardwood floors for less. Some of the glory players in the glory days of New York Mets history. So Tom Seaver, John Franco, Alan Strawberry, Jesse Orozco, and there's your new pitcher for the Mets. That's Scott Rice. Why couldn't they let Giancarlo Alvarado pitch another inning? What's the rush?
Now you like my 36-year-old pitcher, huh?
Love him. And leading off is Jose Lobaton. He replaced Wilson Ramos, the catcher, in the cleanup spot here. Lobaton is getting his first at bat of the afternoon.
Outfield playing really shallow. They've been playing shallow all day, and look at the speed that they have in the outfield with both Youngs and Granderson. They're confident they can run back on a ball without a problem. They're challenging the national hitters to hit it over their head.
Bryce Harper in the on-deck circle. Get his third bat of the afternoon. There are the numbers on Rice from a season ago. Gotten to 73 games.
In the clubhouse, he was doing some crossword puzzles earlier.
You do get the sense everybody wants to get out of here, right? And something about Florida or spring. It's just the end of spring training. As Rice strikes out Lobaton, Harper also told us he's ready to get started. Let's go. Let's get the season started.
But not so far on these pitches. Inside corner right there. Given in the first inning, and then again right here in the third inning, up and in. Everybody's flying. Helmet, Marucci, and Bryce.
Struck out in the second, grounded out to short in the third, and there's a third at bat in the sixth inning. With the Nationals having a 1-0 lead, the only run driven in by their starting pitcher, Jordan Zimmerman. And that'll be the headline so far from today's game, the effort that Zimmerman has had. He's been outstanding today. Not that he needs the boost of confidence, but I'm sure everybody wants their last spring training tune-up to go to go well heading into the real season.
Well, without a doubt, and Matt Williams has to be happy with what he's seen from his pitcher, from his players. They've been aggressive on the bases. Zimmerman has been aggressive in the zone. He's been attacking their hitters. And when you do that, you have a chance. And that's all Matt Williams is asking from his players. Give us a chance.
Swing and a miss. The word on Harper is that he is completely recovered from that knee surgery. Looks to be in terrific shape. Hey, he's 21. He should be in great shape, right?
Should be in great shape. He's already 17, 18 weeks removed from it. You see this pitch right here. He's been pitching him on the outer part. Then with 2 strikes, comes in on him and just barely checks his swing. Good time for a slider on the outer half, down and away. Throw to Bryce.
2-2. Gives it a ride to deep left field. Eric Young Jr. going back, and he'll play it off the Tutto Fresco side in left field for a long, long single.
First pitch to Harper, down and away with a cutter. Then again, he goes down in the zone. That's where he wants to pitch him. Again, he throws it down the middle. But this pitch right here is the pitch that I thought was the key pitch in the at-bat, where he did check his swing, and then he went over the plate again. And a nice turn by E.Y. Jr., getting that ball in and keeping Bryce at first base.
Brings up Ian Desmond. Struck out in the second and flew out to left in the 4th inning. Doug, what are you seeing from down there?
You know, I liked your conversation about how the outfielders are playing.
They picked off Harper here, and they're going to get him. Scored caught stealing.
Yeah,
Bryce Harper's picked off by Scott Rice.
Very aggressive, just sort of going first move. And sometimes that's the option you have. You have a left-handed pitcher. He steps over, and he's kind of tall, lanky, a little slow to the plate, so you might be able to beat the throw by jumping on that first move. But Rice read it very well and threw over.
And all Tejada had to do was put the glove down and wait for him. So 2 away. And Desmond still at the plate. Back to you, Doug.
But even speaking about the outfield, you know, there's a lot of schools of thought about the depth, and I preferred to play to my strength. I was very comfortable going back on balls, so I'd get in and challenge them to sort of hit it over my head. And you saw Granderson, even on Harper, was very shallow, so he's trying to sort of work it so that he's able to go back on the ball. So it sort of depends on how you want to approach it, but you saw how Harper still has managed to hit the ball over Young's head. Young Jr. played it very well off the wall. But you always have to figure out what your strength is and how to play and accomplish your goals defensively.
And of course, Juan Lagares is expected to be the starting center fielder for the Mets on opening day. I bumped into Ron Darling yesterday, and Ron Darling said that Lagares is the best defensive center fielder in all of baseball right now. So of course the question is, can he hit enough? But the Mets defense figures to be mighty improved all the way around the outfield this season.
And in 2011, before Chris Young got hurt and had that shortened season in Arizona, I had him as the best center fielder in baseball. His metrics, his numbers, and the way he approached it put him in an elite class. So they have phenomenal defense around. That's going to really support that pitching staff.
You get a healthy full year out of Curtis Granderson, and maybe you're in business, and that gets you to the 90 wins the Mets are hoping to get. Ruben Tejada, the long throw across the diamond for the out, and the Nationals are retired in the 6th inning, and we send it back to the studio. Ravi, take it away.
Hi, Steve. Thank you very much. We've been talking all day long here of our ESPN BBTN Top 100, the top 100 players of today. 30 of us rank them, and in no particular order. You get guys like McCutchen and Joey Votto and Robinson Cano, but Barry and Manny, you guys complained, you in particular, about pitchers. We actually, almost half of the top 30 are pitchers. 13 of them.
Well, 5 of the top 11 are pitchers. Now, certainly there's some dominant pitchers. I think Clayton Kershaw is by far the best dominant lefty in the game, probably the best pitcher in the game. Listen, these guys make contributions, Manny, and this is my point. 1 every 5 days. So, I'm sorry, it's like the pitcher winning MVP. When Verlander won the MVP a couple years ago, you know, the question was, does he participate enough? He was dominant enough and had a dominant season. But I just don't believe that pitchers that go out there and pitch 1 every 5 days can be considered as the best player in the game simply because they don't make enough contribution.
I'm going to go a little farther than that. I don't think that anybody who doesn't play a premium position, which a lot of times brings up a guy who is a 5-tool, 4-tool player, can be on the top 5. I mean, you need to play a premium position in order to be considered the best player in the game. The best player in the game just don't always hit.
We're just trashing the whole thing.
So he's going corner guys or
we should have had 2 lists.
Shortstop, center field, catcher, and no pitcher.
Not in the top 5.
10 o'clock tonight. 10 o'clock. Iron it out.
Ravi, you know we'll be watching. Thanks very much. Manny Acton and Barry Larkin in the Baseball Tonight studios arguing over all things baseball. 1-0 in favor of the Nationals here as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. New pitcher is Rafael Soriano. Jordan Zimmerman had a dandy of a final tune-up here in spring training.
Yes, he did, and he did it by getting ahead of hitters. That is his M.O. Everybody in the league that faces him knows that. And no different again today. Just like Gio Gonzalez did yesterday, Jordan Zimmerman did today.
Lucas Duda is the pinch hitter in the pitcher spot for the Mets here in the bottom of the 6th inning. 1-0 in favor of DC. Of course, Lucas Duda is in that battle, first base, with Ike Davis. Lefty hitters, potential for real pop. Both have shown glimpses, flashes, if you will.
But one thing Lucas Duda does provide off the bench, I think, is more of a flat swing, and he gives you more consistency in hitting in those situations off the bench. And I think they're going to lean towards Ike Davis being that starter to begin the season.
As Duda fouls it away.
Again, the Nats play the shift with Lucas Duda. Interesting move, especially with your closer, Rafael Soriano, throwing BBs coming in. Guy coming off the bench, you figure it wouldn't be that strong of a shift as the timing is still not there. More probability of him hitting it the opposite way.
Kevin Franzen has checked in at second base now for the Nationals. Just acquired him yesterday. Nate McLouth is moved to right field. And Espinosa has moved over to shortstop, getting Ian Desmond out of the game.
A well-balanced team by the Nats on the bench also. Now with the pickup of Kevin Franzen, I think it brings that attitude that the Nats call an attitude.
Scattered some people in that Nationals bullpen.
That'll wake them up a little bit. Rafael Soriano has a little bit of a sinus infection. He did pitch yesterday in the minor league game, so this is his first back-to-back outing in spring training. Likes to do that right before the season starts.
Josh Satin figures to get some time as well at first base for the righty-lefty matchup. And right into the shift. And Duda bounces out then 4-3.
This was Zimmerman's day today in the first inning. 0-2 count, base hit to Young. Again, same thing to Murphy, but then this is where he battles. Puts his body in front of this ball from David Wright, gets the out, and then gets the big strikeout on that slider down and in, and jams Chris Young to get the final out. That was the only test he had the entire day, coming out with flying colors.
You see the line on Zimmerman today. I mean, exactly where you want to be, right? 71 pitch, right? And oh, by the way, an RBI single in the second inning, driving in the only run of the game.
I would say he's ready.
Good to go.
Not bad for a number 3 guy.
Mets touched up Strasburg a little bit 2 days ago. Gio Gonzalez looked pretty good yesterday, even though he lost. Got ahead of hitters, doing some things. This national staff we talked about earlier, if not the best in baseball, then it has to be right there. This is Eric Young Jr., who is 2 for 2. Had an infield single in the first. Had a single to right in the third. And hitting here in the bottom of the 6th, an 0-2. And EY Jr. making a 3 for 3 afternoon, saying, hey, don't forget about me in the opening day starting lineup. Give me some PT.
Spring training isn't over yet. Moves can be made, and the flexibility that EY Jr. gives you is he can play all 3 outfield positions, and he can also play second base. And that's a luxury that you have with him.
Doug, what do you have on EY Jr.?
Well, I talked to EY before the game, and I know there's conversation about where he's going to play in the outfield. It's like, hey, look, as long as I'm out there, it doesn't matter. I just grab a glove, and it's an opportunity. And that's the attitude that he has. He knows he has to be versatile for this team to be able to play anywhere that's necessary to help this team win. And he has that track record now that he's the speed guy, and he's going to be a guy that's going to make things happen from wherever he is on the field and wherever he is in the lineup.
You know, guys, in a sense, they want Eric Young Jr. in there. He's the only true traditional leadoff hitter they have. If he can't get in the lineup, the Mets are really stranded without a true leadoff guy. The bunt laid down by Serratelli. It's a beauty. And all Rendon can do is eat it. And so the Mets have first and second now, with 1 away in the 6th.
And that's what pressure to a defense does. Get the base hit, speed on the bases. Now all of a sudden, a nice bunt right here. Rendon cannot get a handle on it. Tries to barehand it. On the transition right there, does not work for him. See, goes with the glove, then transition doesn't work. He should have barehanded that ball.
They gave him an error. Gave Rendon an error on that play. I already marked it down as a hit.
Oh, that's a tough score right there.
Of course, Eduardo, you don't have to worry about that on your scorecard. Since let's check. Well, I wish we had a camera.
My scorecard's looking good. I don't make mistakes on my scorecard.
That's a clean scorecard right there.
That's a beauty.
Here's David Wright. First pitch swinging, and he skies it to center. And Bernard Span will make the play. And tagging up is Eric Young Jr. He'll go to third. So the Mets now have first and third with 2 away. How about David Wright swinging that first pitch?
I don't see anything wrong with it if that's the pitch he was looking for, which is a fastball up in the zone. The interesting thing is you're taught to go halfway on a fly ball to center field, but EY Jr. knows he can make it with a runner on first base. Both guys were tagging. Both guys were tagging up. And he gets the third now, puts the pressure on Soriano, and it takes away that slider from him throwing it in the dirt, and it puts the pressure on Lobaton behind the plate to block that pitch.
So here's Curtis Granderson getting his third at bat. Granderson has struck out in the first and struck out in the 4th inning as well. But those were against the starting pitcher, Jordan Zimmerman, now facing Rafael Soriano for the first time here.
Big spot again for Curtis Granderson in the cleanup hole. Runners in scoring position again for him.
And the runner, Serratelli, takes off. They give him the stolen base there. No throw made. It's second and third.
Look at the distance right here between Rendon at third base and EY Jr. He can get a lot more. Put the pressure. As you see, he's jumping off a little bit.
Granderson able to hold up there on the 90-mile-an-hour heater.
Now, first base is open in this situation. They're up, they're down 1, yet the Nationals wouldn't be afraid of giving Granderson the base and pitching to Chris Young, putting the pressure on Young, righty on righty.
Roped it hard, but foul down the right field line. See Chris Young on deck. Another big spot for him.
This is where the experience comes in for Granderson. You get a young player, you don't know the situation.
Took something off there. And we'll go full. At first base open.
He does not have to come with a fastball. That's the beauty of this first base being open, right-handed hitter on deck.
Oh, and Granderson goes down looking. Did not like the call from home plate umpire James Hoy. And that's the third time that Granderson has struck out this afternoon.
Yeah, he lived with the rest of them.
Hey, man, how about the bottle opener?
The original Channel Lock 440. Possibly the most versatile tool you can own, and the perfect tool for the times.
Honey, can you help me with my dress?
Yep. The original Channel Lock 440. Possibly the most versatile tool you can own, and the perfect tool for the times.
You've reached the age where you know how things work. This is the age of knowing what needs to be done. So why let erectile dysfunction get in your way? Talk to your doctor about Viagra. 20 million men already have. Ask your doctor if your heart is healthy enough for sex. Do not take Viagra if you take nitrates for chest pain. It may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Side effects include headache, flushing, upset stomach, and abnormal vision. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help for an erection lasting more than 4 hours. Stop taking Viagra and call your doctor right away if you experience a sudden decrease or loss in vision or hearing. This is the age of taking action. Viagra. Talk to your doctor.
Instead of mailing everyone my vacation photos, I'm saving a ton of time by posting them to my wall.
Ooh, I like that one.
It's so quick. It's just like my car insurance. I save 15% in just 15 minutes.
I saved more than that in half the time.
I unfriend you.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
15 minutes for a quote isn't how it works anymore. With Esurance, 7.5 minutes could save you on car insurance. Welcome to the modern world. Esurance, backed by Allstate. Click or call.
Back at the spring home of the New York Mets, Sandy Alderson is the general manager here after the 2010 season. He's made a lot of moves, a lot of gutsy moves. Traded away Carlos Beltran, let Jose Reyes walk away via free agency. Locked up the face of the franchise in David Wright. Traded a Cy Young Award winner, R.A. Dickey. And in this offseason, signing Curtis Granderson, Chris Young, and Bartolo Colon. And Sandy joins us here in the booth on this final day of spring training. Ready to get out of town, I imagine?
I think everybody's happy to get going.
Looking forward to Montreal.
It should be fun. Yeah, I think they've got some great pregame stuff planned for both Friday and Saturday. And, I haven't been up to Montreal since the All-Star game in 1982. So wow. It'd be interesting for me to go back as well.
Is there any concern with the turf in Montreal and no park now using that type of turf anymore?
Well, I think that they've put new turf in, and it's been inspected by Major League Baseball, so I'm sure it'll be fine for the 2 games. I don't expect that it's a holdover from the 1976 Olympics.
Ground ball first base side. Ike Davis making a nice play and throwing a Juris Familia. But while Familia's in there, let's talk about him. All I heard is throws gas, 100 miles an hour.
Does throw gas, yeah. He's got some natural sink as well, but the important thing for him, as it is for all of our guys, is throw strikes. But he's got great stuff, and somebody who's come up through our system, and we're excited about him.
Let's get the hard part out of the way first. Everybody's talking about 90 wins. That's the magic number.
Sure.
Before the season even starts, the Mets have a magic number, and it's 90. Tell me about that.
Well, I'm the one who made reference to the 90 wins. It wasn't a guarantee. It wasn't a prediction. It was really a challenge, and more than a challenge, it was an attempt to change the conversation and the mindset. It's easy to say, well, we want to win in 2014, or we want to be competitive, or we want to play meaningful games in September. You know, what does that all really mean? It doesn't mean a hell of a lot, and you can't measure it. So, you know, from my standpoint, by stating that number, it really provides a framework for us to try and figure out exactly how we get there.
That's Danny Espinosa doubling into the right field corner. Sandy, you know, lots of questions, and we've gone around. Terry Collins was kind enough to join us during the broadcast as well. Looks like you go into the season with Ruben Tejada as your starting shortstop. Are we still looking?
Well, you know, clubs are always looking to improve, and but at the same time, I think one, we're realistic and know that this is probably how we're going to start, and number two, Ruben's played well for us in the past, and there's no reason he can't play well for us again. So we're not unhappy about going into the season with Ruben as our starting shortstop.
Now let's move over to first base. You have the same situation, Lucas Duda or Ike